Welcome back to Wholesome Journey, a podcast dedicated to exploring the little things that make life beautiful. I'm Keke Grobbelaar, and I'm so happy that you are here. This is officially the first podcast of the season. The previous one was a trailer, and you may or may have not seen it. If you have, thank you so much, and if you haven't, please go have a look at it. In this episode, we are going to be diving into what Wholesome Journey actually is and more on what inspired it, and also be sharing a little bit of my personal journey, because why would I create a platform and not start with my journey? So that's exactly what we're going to be doing in this episode. So I invite you to get comfortable, get your coffee, your tea, your blankie, and stay tuned. About 2 years ago, my family and I went through a bit of a difficult time. Difficult because reality as we knew it changed. Everything was different. And it was during a time where we had been really going through the most, because we had lost Dad during the COVID pandemic, and things weren't good. We were still in a rather dark place, painful place, and now our lives were about to change yet again. And I have spoken about this change in my YouTube videos. You can feel free to go and have a look, have a listen. But what I'll be sharing today is just the journey that led to me wanting to create this platform. So like I said, things were changing. We had quite literally woken up from what we thought was the truth. Many of you will know, if you've been following my channel for quite some time, I was once one of Jehovah's Witnesses, which is a religious group, and I was very dedicated. I did everything by the book to the T, and I was a born-in witness. My mom was actually the one who raised us in the truth. I say truth because that's how we used to refer to this religion as. That's what we are taught also, that it is the truth. Now, when we were now realizing that the truth isn't really the truth, of course, it created a lot of confusion in our lives, and we were devastated. But I think because we were ready for change, we were at a point in our lives where we were more open to learning about what else is out there. And we really did open ourselves up to finding out what exactly is it that we have been missing for this long. I remember one of the very first, aha moments or light bulb moments was when I learned that the disfellowshipping or the shunning of people is what has led to so many cases of suicide in so many people's lives. It is also what has caused major disruptions in families. And this religion actually practiced this. I don't know if they still do, but they actually practiced disfellowshipping, literally cutting people off. And I realized that it is wrong. It is wrong, and we shouldn't be doing that to people. That was one of the first things that drew me to wanting to know more about this truth as I knew it. So I did a bit of research and found more truths that weren't the truth. One thing I learned about this organization, it's a high control group, and they really did discourage us from doing research on platforms that were not provided by them. So for instance, me going on the internet and doing research on the religion on the internet was wrong. They forbade it. They did not allow it. But I finally summed up enough courage to do my own personal research. And that's when I discovered that no, man, there were a lot of things that weren't right. I learned that certain beliefs had changed along the years. And these were core beliefs that, if you went against them, you were then disfellowshipped. However, over the years, I found that they had changed the beliefs and altered them according to what was suitable for them. So that then made me realize that we can't be serving God if we are changing His word, because God's word does not change. And I kid you not, that was the beginning of a new chapter for me and my family. I had made so many sacrifices for this religion, for this organization, and for the longest I had truly believed that I was doing this for God. The organization discouraged us to pursue higher education. Instead, they would encourage us to pursue what they call divine education, which is their schools, Bible schools that they provide. But as for higher education and pursuing a career, that was highly discouraged. At some point, I didn't even believe that I would get married, because they had taught us that because the world is ending, it's not worthwhile to seek a partner. It's better to wait for the system to end and get married in the new system. So I was of the impression that, it's fine. I will dedicate what's left of this life to serving in this organization. So in my mind, I was serving God, yes, but in retrospect, I see now that my time and effort was actually for the benefit of the governing body. The governing body are the leaders of the religion, about 6 or 7 of them. I don't know how many there are now, but they are the ones who make the rules and who decide what goes for what for the rest of the sheep or the flock. So I realized that everything that I had sacrificed, I sacrificed it for the betterment or the benefit of this religion and not for God, because it really did at some point feel like a burden, because living a life where you feel like you are pressurized into following a certain path is not the way, because God sets us free. God's word, the Bible, sets us free. But I did not feel free for the longest time while I was in this religion. So as soon as all of these things were coming to light, I realized that this can't be it. It made me so happy when my mom also, expressed that she had also been feeling some type of way, and it made it so much easier to, as a family, disassociate, because what would have happened is that because they still practice shunning in the family, if I, for example, had decided I no longer want to be part of this religion, I would have risked losing contact with my mom and my siblings. And for my mom to also express that, I've also been feeling, some type of way. I mean, it's her story to tell one day, but for her to also be able to express that she was also not really comfortable. And the reason why she was going through with it is because she didn't want to lose us. I mean, we were basically now doing it because we didn't want to lose each other. And that's not how faith should work, When we were waking up, I say waking up because it's like your mind is asleep, almost brainwashed, because we never used to question everything that we were told. We never really thought critically about anything that was presented to us by the governing body, the organization. So I feel like we woke up from this deep sleep. So when that happened, it felt like God had given me a second chance at life. He was like, my child, you can have another go at this. It really felt like God had singled us out. Well, for me, it felt like He had singled me out and said, my child, you deserve another chance at this life. I see your efforts, because guys, I was so dedicated. I spent my young adult life pursuing full-time service as a regular pioneer, as a need greater, serving where there's a greater need. I mean, like I said, I have gone into more detail regarding everything else that I had done. And I probably will in the future, but just for the gist of this video specifically, I had gone through all the lengths to dedicate myself to God. Meanwhile, it was towards this organization, this high control group, this cult, quite literally, that it was such a blessing to me when I finally came to the realization that it doesn't have to end this way. This is not it. There's actually more to life. It was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. And it was through that experience where I, went on this journey of finding myself, finding out what I want, what makes me happy. My goals and dreams that I had sacrificed were now coming back to light again. I could now freely pursue the things that I wanted to pursue and still stay true to God. I could still stay true to God and everything that He teaches in the Bible, and trust and believe that whatever His word is, it stands. It doesn't change. What the governing body would do, they would alter their beliefs and change them according to what was right for them or how they could benefit. I knew that my God is not like that. God is not persuaded by man, and that really freed me. And that is how this journey began for me. I wanted to be able to express myself in a wholesome way, because I didn't want to be someone that I am not. I am not unruly. I am not rebellious. And I wanted to stay true to myself, yet still be able to freely express myself. And that's how Wholesome Journey came about. It was a journey that I was going on, but I wanted it to remain as wholesome as possible, because I believe that that's the core of my being. And interestingly, I didn't realize that Wholesome Journey, the initials are WJ. And the religion that I was once a part of is JW. So, it's such an interesting aspect that it feels like my life just did a 180, a complete turn, in the best way, obviously, from JW to WJ. I am now rewriting my story, my way, on my terms. There were so many things that I had never done before, and I was now going to be experiencing them for the very first time. The first one being celebrating my birthday. I celebrated my very first birthday when I turned 29. That was when I had my very first birthday. And it was so beautiful. I realized that there is so much beauty in celebrating yourself, and also celebrating your loved ones, people around you, people who care about you. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I mean, not being able to do that for my entire life really felt like robbery. I was robbed of being able to celebrate myself and celebrate another year that has been gifted to me by God, my Creator. I mean, right? So it started with that, and then celebrating Christmas, even New Year's, these things or these events of my life. I just wanted to be able to capture them and share them and just reflect on them. And I thought, what better way to do so than to create a platform where I'll be able to, freely express my journey. And that is how Wholesome Journey came about. And before I knew that it could actually be a podcast, it started off as just seasons. So I had, I think, about 8 seasons where I captured every first that I experienced. And then I think I had one guest, which was my mom, when she turned 50. I had a sit down with her where we went through 50 lessons at 50. That was one of the best interviews that I've ever done. Obviously, I didn't know that it would become what it is becoming right now, and I would love to have my mom back again on this platform, as it is now a podcast. So yeah, I feel like I said, God has given me the opportunity to take on life again and just go after every dream and every goal that I had and had to sacrifice for another man's benefit. Now I get to go after those goals, and I get to enjoy life with my husband, and I get to plan, and I get to do so many things that I wouldn't have even dreamed about while I was still in the organization, because really life had become so dull, because all we were being told was that the world is ending. There's no point in studying further, getting a degree, in pursuing a better job, in getting married, in having children. All of these things were discouraged. But now I get to make that decision for myself. The purpose is to carry on the story and really bring it to as many people as possible through the platform where even they can also share their own personal stories of making it through or breaking through, because it takes courage to make such a big decision. I mean, it takes courage to make any decision that will alter your life. For me currently and my family, we lost contact with the people who we thought were our family. And for the longest time, it hurt. It hurt me to think that I have lost everyone who was so close in my life, and they didn't even think twice to cut us off, because that's what the religion teaches. I don't blame them to an extent, because I've come to the understanding that they are just as indoctrinated as I was, or as I once was. So who am I to judge? I understand their standpoint because I was once part of that organization or that religion. But that's not unconditional love, because it shows that the love is only expressed if you are doing what they want you to do. Then only they can reciprocate the love. Otherwise, they cut you off. Yet I have been able to experience unconditional love from people who were never in that religion, who still love me now. They loved me while I was in that religion, and they continue to love me now that I'm out. Yet the people who claimed to love me the most are the ones who cut me off. So as painful as it may be, there's also light at the end of the tunnel, because I get to create relationships that are not conditional, with people who don't expect me to do things according to their liking for them to have a relationship with me. They can accept me as I am for who I am and still love me and respect me, whether I am doing what they want me to do or not. So on the one hand, there's sadness, but on the other hand, there is so much more happiness and joy and possibilities and opportunities and life. So I'm truly, truly happy that I am where I am right now, and that I get to create a platform like this where people can also come on and share their journeys and their experiences in order to inspire other people who might also be feeling stuck, not knowing what to do next. My Leafy, there is light at the end of the tunnel. It might be difficult now, but you have to endure. And the most important thing I can say is that if you feel stuck in a space or if you feel stuck, have an exit plan. It's not wise to just make a decision haphazardly and not know what to do next. But I would strongly advise you to have a plan, have an exit plan, strategize, ask for help, and just take care of yourself, because you are precious. You are amazing. And always remember that no one can take God's place. I remember many of those who are or were my friends while I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses kept saying to me that I am leaving God. Why am I leaving God? Why am I, And I'm thinking, why say that? Because God is not in, some place. I can't leave God. There is no way that I can leave God, And it's not up to another human being to decide whether I get saved or not, The governing body members, they can't save me. They can't decide whether I should get saved or not. It's not up to them, So, and God is not in a specific religion some way. There is no way I can leave God, It reminds me of the scripture in Acts chapter 2, verse 14 through 40. It's an amazing book. But verse 21 says, "Those who keep God's name will be saved." Those who keep God's name will be saved. There is no leaving God somewhere and now all of a sudden you won't be saved, So that's what keeps me firm in my belief. It keeps me firm in the fact that I am God's child, and that a human being, a mere mortal, cannot have the final say whether I am saved or not. You can expect interesting conversations with amazing individuals, different stories from different people who come from different backgrounds, different walks of life, but I promise you will definitely learn something from each and every single one of them. My Leafy, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your love and support. This has been great. I'll see you in the next time.